Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to Satsang. So good to have you all here. Just a second. Let me let Stephen in. Okay.
Hey, Mike.
So it's pretty simple here at Satsang. There's just what's happening. Just this. Whatever's happening. And there's always just what's happening. That's it. But for the me, what's happening is never enough, is it? So that's the dilemma. I don't know what I want, says the me, but I know this isn't it. And do you know what the linchpin is of all this? Knowledge. I know that I am. And as soon as I know that I am, the seeking begins. And so the message here at Satsang is nothing is actually knowable. Nothing is actually what you think it is. Because two people can look at the same piece of art, and one person can love the art, and another person can hate the art. And it's the same art. So the opinion's not coming from the painting. It's coming from the me. And so there's no peace being a me. We can say that the me is the dream of separation. It's my own personal world of what I believe should be happening. what should and shouldn't be happening. But did you notice that life doesn't check with you before the moment appears? Doesn't come down and say, Michael, is this okay with you if we have a pandemic? I didn't get the memo. So as long as there's a me there, it's always going to be a bumpy ride. There's no way around it. So just what's happening doesn't leave, there's not even time for a past, and there's not even time for a future. There's just what's happening. And it's always been like that. So there's no way to alter the moment, because it's just the way it appears, and you're not doing it. Nobody's doing this. And that's the magic. That's the mystery that gets lost when I think I know what this is. It kills the miracle. It really does. Because you don't know what this moment is. I don't know what this moment is. Nobody knows what this moment is. How great is that? It's completely unknowable. So the me can make up anything it wants. It's not true. So basically, we're suffering our stories. The me has these stories, and then they're believed, and then I suffer them. So there's no hope for the me. But that's fine for you, because you've never been a me. So what's left? If you're not a me, what are you?
Don't know.
Yeah, very good, Stephen. Don't fill it. That's the mind coming back in. Well, then I must be awareness. I must be consciousness. But those are all concepts. Those are all things too.
Labels.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this very thing today as I was doing inquiry, like, who is watching? Who is aware? And I'm like, why am I asking this freaking question? Who knows?
So there has to be something inside you that smells a rat with the me. For most of the world, they seem to be able to get it to sort of work. I never could.
I call it a complacency coma.
Well, it starts with suffering, because we usually don't start to question this me until we begin noticing our suffering is nothing seems to work. I keep suffering And yeah, I can distract myself for a little bit, but nothing seems to work permanently.
That's because you're not doing anything, really.
Would you say that again, please, sir?
That's because you're not doing anything.
Ah. Now, how does that hit you? Does that make you recoil in fear and want to run from the room? Or does that sound like a breath of fresh air? You've never done anything. See, that's the problem for the me, is it thinks it's the doer, and so it's always got pressure to make the right decision, right? Because there's great consequences and gravity on everything I do, because I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to be wrong. So there's no rest for the weary. There's no rest for the me. It's an exhausting 24/7 job being a good, upstanding me, and particularly hard now when all bets are off with the COVID. That just highlights the lack of control. So everybody's illusion of control just got a big hole blown right through it. Wait a second. I didn't plan on this. Pandemic, that wasn't in the budget. It's uncontrollable, guys. Life is uncontrollable. And the me imagines that it can control it.
And it thinks that that's what it thinks its job is to control it. That's where we get the message, early on, all the way through school and everywhere. We're supposed to be responsible.
Yes, yes, very good, Stephen. And it's up to you to make this I mean, look at all those. I mean, I wrote a motivational book, right? Back in the 90s. I did. I interviewed all the top motivational speakers, Tony Robbins and Wayne Dyer and all the big shots. And it was all about becoming.
Yep.
I wasn't there yet, but if I set a goal, kept my nose to the grindstone. But what happens when you reach your goal? Right? Like what I was hearing our buddy Tim Kliss, by the way, if you haven't got his new book, I recommend it. It's really good. And he was talking about the pressure that athletes, Olympic athletes feel, get this, once they've achieved their goal. In other words, imagine spending 12 years of your life and all you thought about was a gold medal. And let's say you end up even achieving it, right? That would be the best outcome. Predictably, there's a huge depression that follows it. And that makes sense, right? Because I've just spent 12 years shooting for a goal. Okay, I achieved it. And what does the me say? Now what? Now who am I? Okay, I got the gold medal. See, as long as it's in the future, the mind can keep like a carrot on a stick. It keeps the goal in the future. But once you reach it, it needs a new goal. You need a new goal because that one no longer keeps you seeking.
We not only don't know anything, we also don't know if there is such a thing as a virus.
Alan, just so you know, I've been trying to let your brother steward in for the last couple of minutes. It just says he's trying to, oh wait, maybe, let me try. Looks like he's tried a new login. Let's see if we'll get steward in here. So can you feel this urge to do something? Can you feel that right now? There's a me that just to sit here and not do anything, the me's already a little uncomfortable. I'm wasting time. Now, here's the funny part. It doesn't really know where it's going. It just knows this isn't it. Do you see the trap? This is never it. It's always in the future. Or it'll remember a past and then try and recapture that past in the future. But it's always stepping over this moment. It's always avoiding what is. And what is the only thing that is. All right, let's open it up to some questions because I know everybody can't be on board with this. This is too crazy.
Oh, Michael, I was watching myself. I was sort of wasting time yesterday on doing some family history, and I consider that, in my opinion, it's a bit of a waste of time. It's not very important stuff in the scheme of things. And so I was just absorbed in doing that, and I had this sense that someone was going to come and say, stop it, or come and interrupt me or something, and nobody did. And it was the most unusual, sort of a bit of an uncomfortable feeling to be wasting time, because my ego gets a buzz, I think, out of achieving things.
Really, Faith? Well, you're the only one.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pandemic.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So if I'm not achieving, I'm feeling disoriented and, I don't know, maybe not valued or something in my own eyes. So it's a bit uncomfortable.
It feels a little spacey or floating. I mean, that's how I relate to what you're saying. I get up in the morning and I'm retired and I haven't the faintest idea what I'm going to do, you know. So, you know, I just have my lemon water and I make celery juice and I putter. What do? I putter.
No.
Most days I putter.
No, you don't.
No?
No. No, you've never puttered in your life. There's no you, Joan, to putter.
No.
So puttering just happened.
Yeah. And I never know what it's going to be.
That's what I'm saying. But that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. I just don't know.
Yeah. But that's the truth. So you say I puttered, but really just puttering just seemed to happen. It's just a story. But
I mean, the next thing I know, I'm gardening and then I'm running the store. I mean, I have no idea when I get up in the morning, any of this is going to happen.
Right. So where are you in all this?
Lost. I do have
It's a trick question, Joan.
Yeah, if I answer it, I'm in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, totally. The answer is there is no me.
Michael, that was a verbal landmine.
That was Joanna as the voice of God.
I am the voice of the hamster that had the
There's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do.
Well, there's no you, and that's what the me wants to run from. Like, so sometimes at satsang, when I bring this up, you may notice that sometimes people will jump to story. And it's an avoidance of really looking head on at what's being shared here at satsang, that there is no you. And not only is there no you, there's never been a you.
It comes and goes. Comes and goes. Sometimes I'm not there and sometimes I am. And when I am there, cognitively, it's resistance to what is happening.
All right.
And my husband's a wonderful trigger for me. He's a great teacher. It's like, I like to just let him be, da-da-da, and then we'll have a conversation and he starts yelling and I'm like, why are we yelling? I'm not yelling, but I'm just like, can you just talk? He feels this need to yell, and just watching, most of the time I allow myself to get triggered and I realize that I'm triggered and then I start backing away, but it's like something happens when someone raises their voice. Don't like it.
Oh. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and mute everybody. Sorry, guys, I just had to remute everybody and let's see what happens. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. I just heard some music and I didn't know where it was coming from, so I hit the mute. We'll figure it out. Is that Dan?
Not me.
Okay. So does anybody else have any comments or questions about, because I mean, it is the most shocking thing you'll ever hear. You will not hear anything more shocking.
Well, I can say that I'm 75 years old. I still work about 30 hours every 2 weeks. I'm president and office manager of the condo association. That way, when I wake up in the morning, I can have little goals. And thank you for bringing up the question, Faith, because I know that's all about wanting control in my life, because if I get up and I do nothing for a couple, 3 hours, I start to feel depressed. So that's, I know, well, that's just the way it is. That's what's happening for me right now. Not right now, but that's what happens in my thinking.
Yeah, so anything can arise. So that's perfectly fine, Alice. Depression can arise, but it's not your depression. How would you make depression appear? How would you do that?
By not working and by not.
Well, how does something inside you know that you're not working to hit the depression button? You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yes.
It just spontaneously arose, the depression. You didn't do it because there is no you inside. Do you know what I'm being literal. I'm saying there's no you inside that body.
So I'm equating I just got a glimpse of, yes, I can do all the things I'm doing without there being a me.
Yes. Yes.
You're not doing any of them. They're just happening.
There goes my mantra for the week.
Yeah, it's great piece actually, when you finally live that way. So you realize that you're not who you think you are, and no one else is either.
It just takes practice. I would think a lot of, and that is not true either.
Well, to really bring it to this moment, you can actually watch as each of us speak. So Alice was just speaking, Joan was speaking before that, I was speaking. It's the same animating presence, power, source that is coming through Alice, is coming through Joan, is coming through Michael, is coming through all of us, coming through everyone, every being. It's the same power source, if you will. It's just a story, but
Intelligence.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, or intelligence.
Because what's just happening is the same for everyone. There's not 8 billion just happenings, right? There's just what's happening. There's just what is. And whether I'm in trying to make things happen or just letting them happen, let the universe do its thing through me, it's the same thing, because either way, it's just what's happening. So it really doesn't matter. But what does matter is if I'm identifying myself as the me. Because when I'm doing that, I feel separate from what's happening. I'm trying to get, good with what's happening. I'm trying to get, that's what the me is always trying to do all this stuff, but I'm really just trying to get back to what's happening. But actually I can't, because the me has already left what's happening. There's no way back while I'm the me, because once I'm the me, I'm actually not seeing what's happening. I'm seeing what's happening. It's like a mirror of my own mind, my own stuff, my own story. I look at what's happening and I just see my own story. And then I end up, that's the hamster wheel. Yeah.
You're being done instead of you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just really just settle into that, and just whatever's happening, like right now, supposedly, like I'm talking, I can see my mouth moving and all that. And it's like I'm seeing that I'm being done rather than I'm doing this. Life is animating me. Life is doing this talking to everyone.
Yeah, and we can start by backing the truck up. Oh, I've missed saying that. That was a popular one at Satsang. Back the truck up. And we can start by noticing this power, this source, when it grows the grass. So we're all clear that we're not growing the grass. We don't make the grass grow. And you could apply that to your body, right? You don't make your fingernails grow. You don't make your hair grow. You don't make a cut. So I'm still amazed when do you ever sit and watch a cut, how quickly the intelligence fills in the cut, and then within an hour it's already on its way to healing? That's entertainment for me. I guess I'm a cheap date. What was that, Diane? You got to unmute.
I cut my finger the other day, and it was amazing to see how it came back together. It's just amazing. I didn't do anything.
Oh, I know. How does it know Because I did the same thing. I'm like, wow, it perfectly filled in the hole. No more, no less. It didn't do too much and it didn't do not enough. It just made the cut fill and then begin to heal and turn pink. And it was stunning and it was magical and it couldn't be explained.
It couldn't be explained in a mechanical way. However, that's the intelligence of life.
Yeah. But you can't say how it does it.
No, that's knowledge. That's knowing things we
Yeah.
don't know.
But it's way better. It's like seeing a magic show. I've told this story before. When I used to be a professional magician, I would encounter, some people could enjoy the magic and really get into it. And other people would just sit there and like watch my hands and, okay, what's in that hand? And I have to be honest, usually it was men. And usually they were attorneys.
Logic, analytical.
Yeah, they were really like, it was all about catching me. It was not about enjoying it. So that's kind of like the me. The me is so busy trying to figure this out and get it all to work that it's not really having too good a time.
Well, that's a good analogy. Sadhguru says everything is either logic or magic. You decide.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because the mind's looking for logic, but it's magic.
All magic.
It's all magic.
It's all magic.
And it's funny, we say it, right? We say the magic of childbirth. Like we admit, that's magic. Like how does that work? How do you plant a seed in the garden and then from it springs a giant palm tree? It is magic, but the mind wants to figure it out.
Thing that gets to me is I want to know where the first seed for all these different plants came from.
Right?
And where did the seed for all these different, Homo sapiens in different sizes, shapes, and colors? Why don't we all look alike?
Hey, Joan, where does anything come from?
Mars.
Yeah.
Where does Mars come from?
Venus.
On and on and on.
Yeah.
I can remember asking that question to myself when I was like 10, where like an apple, the tree, the seed, but then it just comes back into a loop again. It's like there's got to be something. Where's the beginning? And I couldn't fathom it out.
Where's Joanna usually jumps in now and says we used to say it's turtles all the way down.
I'll add the image to help.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that story about it's turtles all the way down?
I have never heard that before.
Oh, well, it's a story of there was a lady and a scientist was giving a lecture on the ins and outs of the universe, and she said, some lady in the back of the room raised her hand and said, "Oh, that's just a bunch of hooey. Everybody knows it's the whole universe rests on a turtle." And the guy thought he caught her. The scientist thought he got her and said, "Well, madame, and what does the turtle rest on?" And she said, "Oh, you're not getting me with that one. It's turtles all the way down."
Made me think of the story Yertle the Turtle.
Yeah, Yertle the Turtle. Dr. Seuss. Okay, who else? Does anyone else have any comments or questions they'd like to share?
Well, just one, the whole idea of beginnings and all that is again, just a construct of our mind or a way of thinking, because we don't know that there is a beginning or an end. That's all just all we know is just what's happening. And we sort of, from our memory or whatever that we have, that we think, oh, there's this thing called time, but we don't even know there's time. So maybe there is no beginning at all. Maybe it's just being created just instantly the way it is each moment, and that's all there is. There's no beginning, no end ever.
I think Rupert Spira said time is what infinity looks like when filtered through the mind.
Yeah.
We create time, but time does not exist.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
My life is what this moment looks like when filtered through my mind. And so then so I always have a choice. Do I go into life or do I go into my mind? And I usually end up, as we all do, usually end up in the mind, which is kind of what all of our stories today we're talking about, all the things that go on when we're in the mind. And they're pretty much not happy, because the only really happy thing is just what's here before I go into the mind. So where do I hang out? In the mind or just here without thinking, without doing anything to just this moment? But me can't do that. Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, Rumi has some beautiful poetry, and one of the lines is, "And what is this back and forth? What is this back and forth?" It's, you know, who set that up, and what is that? But you're right. It's just like it ping pongs back and forth, and you get to watch it, and you know, you get to a point where we all are, and you start questioning the whole thing. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, but when the me's there, it's a completely different experience, yeah?
When the me's there, I'm the ping pong ball, getting back, beat back and forth all day, yeah. And it's wears you out. It's no fun, but it is fun to watch. But I can only watch when I see that I'm not the me, and I'm this space, this moment. Watches the story. So I think it's really good to take a lot of time whenever we can to really look at, you know, which one really am I? Am I really the me? Or am I what's just here, just here now, without the story? And make yourself find out, you know. Anyway. And I think we do that naturally more and more. The more we get, you know, we get worn out with being the me. It's just, we naturally fall back into who we actually are. Because it's always right here.
I had an interesting experience this past week. The week before, one of the Satsangs, I can't remember who said it, but it was something about holding space. Might have been you, Joan. You were talking about one of your family members with the election. And then someone might have said, maybe you, Michael, just the importance of just holding space, not judging it right or wrong. And what I did, I took that into my meditation practice this week. And I did a little spin on it that was really helpful. I wanted to share in case it helps anybody else. But I started holding space for Alan. And it was really profound because it really helped me step back. I mean, we all talk about being the observer and the witness, and that's all great too. But this was really deeper. This was more like, and I did it in a loving way. I was genuinely being, let's call it awareness for simplicity, or the Tao, but I was really observing from the non-personal. And my other key words were love and compassion. So it was really about just bringing love and compassion to Alan and just really holding space. So I want to thank whoever used that metaphor a week or two ago. And I found it very helpful because it's sort of things that you were just talking about, Dan, just the idea of the me and really starting to see where am I identified? Is it the me? But boy, when you just hold space for yourself, it's really powerful. So I just wanted to share that.
Great, thank you, Alan.
Great. And then when you find you go back, you're back into Alan again, then you lost the space and you're lost in space. You're back in the story.
Yep.
And that has a totally different feeling, right? And now you've got a lot of stuff to do. And now nothing quite works, but you're always trying to make it work. But now you have that alternative is like really alive for you, Alan, through that, doing that, what you said. Now you know, I mean, not that it's the first time you've done it, because you've probably done it a lot, but I would say make that, you know.
Default.
Yeah.
I was trying to beat you to the punch, I think.
Well, that was Alan, because he's very happy. Yeah.
Speaking of Alan, Alan, when we had the Satsang, boy, it seems like another lifetime when I actually had people behind me, 8 months ago. This living room used to, Alan, yeah, right? But so one of Alan's favorite sayings was, the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao.
It's all nameless. It's all formless. There's another way of saying it too, which is the more you define it, the more you limit it, right? Same idea.
Well, all words are just abstractions. It's like eating the menu when you go to a restaurant. It's like, that's just concept. That's just, it's not the food if it's the restaurant, for example. So I wanted to just throw in something that seemed to be a valuable kind of way of looking at life, and that is to, instead of operating from knowledge, like what I should do or shouldn't do, but to really let my me, if there is such a thing, operate out from intuition. In other words, spontaneously, without any directing and trying to do things.
Yeah, I can't, I want to underscore what Stephen just said, because that is my experience. There is just like the cut, that's probably the best example I can give you. There is an intelligence operating that when you get out of the way.
Yes.
It's not that you sit, on the couch eating bonbons. No, I watch this body move and do things and clean things and fix things. But when Michael's not there, there's and here's the interesting thing. I notice that it has no order. For instance, I'll give you a simple example. Like I notice if let's say the thought comes to do the laundry, right? I got to do laundry. I don't really think much more about it. And I notice it doesn't require much more thought, because I find that the body, when the moment just seems to happen, I get the laundry basket out and detergent in the quarters, and it all just seems to happen by itself. And it may happen with different breaks during the day. For instance, I may set the detergent down and not go for the quarters for an hour. It may just happen that way. But I noticed that at the end, the laundry all got done, and it didn't require any, and there was no rush. If somebody was using the washing machine, that was okay too. That was just what's happening. It's no problem. So there's none of that, oh God, I was going to do my wash, but now somebody got it before me. Woe is me. None of that. So are you okay? This is the funny part. Here's where I'm trying to trip you. Are you okay not having problems? I don't know. As a me, we're pretty damn addicted to problems. What would you do without a problem?
Be bored or anxious.
That sounds like a problem.
Right? So the me can make anything into a problem. Even not having problems is now a problem.
The me is already a problem. Wherever it goes, it takes the problem. And it never sees the reality. There's no problem in the reality. There's no problem in just what's already, and what's happening is just always what's happening. Everything is already being done, always. Has ever been, you know, that's the point. And the me is always trying to know what to do and what's happening and how to make sure it happens right. And that's nonsense. It's just a fantasy. It has nothing to do with reality. It's just going on inside my head. So meanwhile, I'm checked out of the fact that everything is just going on as it does and as it always does. Everything is being done, except the me is trapped in its own little, oh, we lost our hamster wheel.
Hamster loop, yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing that the me doesn't want to hear is that nothing has any meaning. The me thinks everything it does has great importance and actually means something. No, life is beautifully meaningless.
Well, Michael, oh, sorry.
The me is a meaning-making machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Faith.
I get lots of comfort from being in this group and listening to this sort of discussion. But it puzzles me. And I don't know how I got here, except that I must have come down through a whole lot of layers of trying this, trying that, trying this, trying that. It's not working, no, that's not it. And finally I end up in this group where things sort of, I mightn't be able to embrace it all, but it resonates and it gives me hope and courage and confidence and comfort. But I've had a discussion with a friend this week, and he's a church-going Christian. Well, he doesn't go through all this stuff that I do. He's just trots off to church on a Sunday. He believes in Revelation 3:20 or something, I don't know. I can't get my head around how I'm here and he's there and he's happy. Can anybody help me understand how that works?
I think the me has found a story they like in that scenario.
So Diane's stories must be super, super powerful.
Oh, very powerful.
To keep that friend.
Yeah.
Religion is a story.
Yeah.
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 The whole what is that?
Why are you not comforted by this big religion story? Why are you not comforted by it? And you have to come to this group.
Well, it can be that way for a while. You know what I'm saying? You can believe, like I went through when I was younger, even though I was born, Jewish, into a Jewish family, I became a born again Christian, not once, but twice, just to be sure. So
you're definitely going to heaven then.
But here's the thing. I just want to say, things can resonate for a while with you very closely, and then not for no reason. So for instance, I'll give you an example. For a long time, Muji and Rupert Spira, who often will use words like awareness, and there was no problem for that. But right now, from where I'm seeing, even awareness is too much for me. I'm just sharing where I'm at. To me, I still have an idea of a something. And when I look here, I find emptiness, right? From where I'm looking from, totally empty. There's no, I mean, I could say awareness, but I could also say, you know, brown shoe.
Very, very true. It's you just you don't know anything. And just a thought about religion. One of the stories is that's so comforting, I think, with people, is that there is a God up there who is loving and is, you know, and holds you in their hands or whatever. So they have this whole idea, that story, to make them feel saved, make them feel that they're okay.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is, it's really not about religion. It's about, I mean, everybody is comforted by their stories, by their identity. You know, it doesn't, a scientist is comforted by that. A Dodger fan is comforted, you know, and we all have all of these facets of our identity that are, it's like we build our nest around us of our, that keeps us comfortable. And that's really what everyone is doing. The problem, and the people that are so-called happy, which I don't know, you can find me one, because, but I mean, people who are, say, are conventionally happy people are people basically that their story is working for them and make, you know, comfortable and not disturbing and giving me a feeling that I'm somewhat safe, which is more difficult when there's things like COVID coming in, but you know, somewhat safe, somewhat in control, somewhat okay. But as Michael said, that's an illusion and it breaks down. So that's the problem. It's not true, no matter how good your story is, you know. Yeah, so it's really not about religion, although that's a beautiful example of it. You can to really see. And it's also why people who are fundamentalist often are the most rigid people, because there's, anyway, we could talk about this a long time. But
I just want to jump over, Kim, did you have any questions or?
No, I'm feeling very quiet tonight.
Okay.
I actually, what a lot of you are talking about, I think I refer to as the flow state, when you can just drop in. And I'm there right now, oddly enough. But I'm just observing and thinking, you know, always think, why can't I stay here? You know, it seems like a difficult place to stay. But yeah, I mean, I have thoughts, but they're not that important right now. I'm really enjoying just listening to everyone.
Oh, good. Well, let me just add a little something to what you just said, and you can all decide for yourself. That's what's so beautiful about this sharing, is there's no sales pitch. You get to test drive it. You get to see, does this resonate with me? It's all about resonance. No, not about a belief. You know, this resonance with not being an identity. Because in a way, an identity is a limitation. I'm this, and now I'm not that. And isn't your identity constantly changing throughout the day? Maybe, like I said, you're a mom, or you're a wife, or you're a school driver, or a teacher. So we have labels are constantly changing. And the only one that doesn't is the me. But when looked into, can you actually even find the me?
This is more on a surface level, but a couple of years ago, I hit this point where I became acutely aware that buying things, and I was never that materialistic, but you know, we all go to Target or somewhere a little bit more fancy, and you get this idea that if you buy something, it's going to make you happy. And I became acutely aware that that was actually never going to happen in my life again. I had completely let go of that. And the teacher at that time had this wonderful Sanskrit word for it that I can't remember, but it's about the residual oil in the bowl, that even though you poured the oil out, there's still that residual. Mm-hmm. Because I was saying that, what is there now? You know, like what's going to give me that feeling now? And I don't want it, but I'm missing it a little bit. Sometimes when we let go of the idea that we have a me, an identity, you miss it a little bit. Because then you think, well, then what now? But when I'm in this state, I am very okay with it. Right. But I mean, I think we all experience that, right? You know, there's this ideal state that you really want to stay in, but you miss it. And this is new and strange and unknowable. But I kind of like that, at least right now.
Well, you're always empty. Can I just make that clear? The me is what's coming and going. So the story has it backwards. It's like, oh yeah, I had this one time, you know, where there was no me and I really liked it and I'm trying to get that back. No, it's the other way around. You're already empty. It's this idea of the me that you keep entertaining. As soon as you lose interest in that one, because you see it's doing you no favors. The me is a knower. What if you don't know anything?
Then it could all be a mystery. You don't know anything.
So there you go. How does that sound to you? That's a great way to close out. It's all a mystery, but the mind says, I know what the mystery is. It's this, this, and this. And this message is saying that's an illusion. You actually don't know what this is. And in fact, thinking you know what this is kills the magic, kills the mystery. Because you know what it is, so you're not interested. And that explains boredom. Because I think I know what this moment is, it bores me, says the me. But what if you don't have a clue what this moment is, and you don't have a clue what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds? I want to thank everybody for coming to Satsang tonight. Kim, thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who came tonight. I'm always available. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me. We have the Awakening Community on Facebook, Michael Jeffrey's Awakening Community. You're welcome to participate in. And I'll try and get this up on YouTube in the next 24 hours. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.